What is up? Welcome to, well, I don't even, I don't have a catchy name, I don't, I just used my name, Jake Santos's World of Riding. My wife and my kids said, hey, like, you gotta change the name, like, you gotta have something catchy. I don't, I'm gonna have to work on it, okay? There's a lot of great names out there that are really catchy. Not gonna lie, I've never clicked on them because the name was great. Take that back. There was one I clicked because he just had a great name. Take that back. There's like, now that I think about it, there's like two of them that I clicked on because two or three of them that I clicked because they had a great name. Doing It With Dan, I mean, Jesus, that was like 3 or 4 years ago. Great name. I didn't like the Mohawk, but I was able to push through it. The Mohawk on the helmet, but I was able to push through it because the dude was just super entertaining and very talented. I think it's Motonosity. Anyway, another great name, and even a better logo. The logo too is just killer. So never mind, I'm wrong. My family's right, I'm wrong. And then Yami Noob. The Yami Noob is kind of like self-deprecating a little bit, the noob part, but that's a great name too, and a great logo. Fuck, they're always right. Anyways, what am I talking about today? I am talking about the Kawasaki H2 SX and the ECU flash with Brock's. Is it worth it? And I'm going to make this short and sweet. If you're just clicking on it and maybe you bought an SX and you're wondering which way to go, yes, it's not only 100% worth it. I would tell you from my standpoint of having this bike now for a year, I wouldn't, if I bought this bike stock, which I did, I wouldn't have kept it if I couldn't have had it flash. If flashing didn't exist or it wasn't available for this bike, I would have already resold it. And a lot of people would say, like, it's 1,000 cc supercharged, all that. Yeah, the SX, clearly they changed the power band. Still, stock, but still very powerful. It has the 3 power modes, all the different traction controls and stuff like that. But I also have a ZX14, right? That's what I came from. I still have it. But that bike is completely, everything you can do to it, I've done. And that being said, and that bike will do every bit of 200 miles an hour. That is no lie. I've gone, the fastest I've ever gone in is probably about 180, 185 with throttle left in it. And that bike that's such a great bike. It's the only reason I haven't sold it is because I love that bike so much. But what I'm saying is the runaway speed, like when you turn the throttle, you're just going. You're just going and you're gone. There's no lag in it. It doesn't feel like at any point you couldn't run away from somebody. Anybody that rides motorcycles would understand. When you turn the throttle, man, you want to pull away, and with the H2 SX, when I got over the 500 mile mark and it was broken and I started opening it up, like, yes, it's very light, it's very nimble, it's very easy to manage, it's a lot of fun. But on the back end of it, the back end power, you don't have runaway power, okay? Like, they dump the power out of the bike on the top end of the power band. Like, when you got to that was the thing about the the ZX14, was when I was in 6th gear and I opened up the throttle and say I was going 120, 125 miles an hour, it was the equivalent of going from 0 to 60. Like, you could feel it accelerate again. With the SX, I couldn't, the stock SX, I couldn't feel that. Like, once you got to the top end of your power, I was in 6th gear and I'm turning the throttle to run away. You could, yeah, you went faster. You saw the speedometer go faster, but you didn't. It didn't have that inertia. It didn't have that pull. It didn't feel you know when you're going that fast, you'll feel it on your shoulders and your helmet. Like you'll feel the bike suck down. It's exhilarating. It's exhilarating. I love it. It's such a rush. It's so exciting. And you don't get it. You did not get it one bit. So you know, when I went shopping, I've had flashes before, and I just didn't even want to mess around. I wanted a name. I wanted like somebody who's in the business of making fast motorcycles. And don't get me wrong, there's quite a few people who flash motorcycles, right? But I wanted a company behind it. I didn't want just to you know, I wanted, if there was an issue or anything like that, I wanted somebody who's going to stand behind it and make it as smooth as possible. And that's why I trusted Brock's. And the dude's passion, I just know that guy wouldn't put his name on anything that wasn't as good as it could be. So that's what I did. And I'm telling you, if you buy the Brock's flash on the SX, you will be ecstatic. It's as good as a flash as you can get. It's completely seamless. So and as far as the flash setup too, it's really brilliant. So you'll see right here the F, that's for on the Brock system, that is for God man, those are some big eyelashes. Sorry, this is a random thought, but I mean she's pretty girl, but it's just like, it just seems like if you had that attached to your eye, that it would be heavy, you know. Like the things that women do to make us happy is it's appreciated. It's appreciated, you know. Anyway, so back to what I was saying. So the F stands for full, so that's full power. So when you have it on that, you have the ability to all your horsepower. There's no lag in anything. When you go in any gear and you turn the throttle, you're running away, second to none. The second one is M, and that's MXRO2, so that's like track mode. And you would say, well, hey, isn't track mode just like full mode because you're trying to run away? Yes and no. Track mode just means MXRO, like you can use race fuel, the MX, I want to say it's like MXRO2, I believe is what the fuel is. And sorry, there's a car behind me, I had to get ahead of them. So you have the race fuel, and then the last mode is L. I've never ridden it in L. I heard it's quite nice, but no, L is just your stock mode. So whatever the bike, you know, like, so fuel, if you really want to manage your fuel and all that type of thing, you would put an L mode, also known as loser mode. Now I'm just joking, it's a joke, I kid. Low mode, you manage your fuel. It's still fast as shit, like 100%. It's still fast as shit. Like, it's really, all this power is more like on the back end. You know, the power band to this bike is very well, even as stock, it's very well managed and put throughout the bike. Like I said, I really just didn't like the experience of the power band on the back end of the bike. So you know, all that being said, that's pretty much the extent of the Brock's flash. It is phenomenal. Also on that, I would also have to say I do have the sprint filter. If you're gonna maximize your horsepower as far as getting a flash and stuff, I have the sprint filter. I do have a slip-on exhaust. I was gonna do the whole exhaust. It was more just about the process of changing all that stuff. I just wanted to just ride my bike, and and I felt like I made enough changes that I have access to the amount of power that I want. I know I gained more, you know, a few more horsepowers, and also loss of weight by changing all that stuff, but I just wanted to ride my bike. So I was like, you know what, I'll tough it out, and I did. And sorry, I was just watching those cars run a red light, and I did. And but it's still been great, man. It's still been great. Like, once I had the Brock's Flash, it was exactly what I thought owning this bike would be. And it was only possible because well, them, and there's other guys, and like, those other guys are cheaper, and I'm sure you could be happy with it. You'd be just as happy with it, I'm sure. Like, there's a lot of guys that know what they're doing, but for me, my money, just want to trust the source. All that also being said, the other part of that would be too is this bike, when it had the recall on the basically a recall on the ECU, because they had to change they had to recalibrate the gears on a recall between 4th and 5th gear. The Brock's, because I had the Flash, they had to change the whole ECU out, and Brock said, send it in, we'll reflash it, just pay for shipping back to you, and we're good. They did that. So I mean, come on, I mean, that's as good as it gets. I mean, to do that, they could have easily said, oh, you got to pay for it to be reflashed, or hey, we'll give you half off. None of that. Like, hey, we'll just take care of you. And they did, and it was fast and seamless, as I knew Brock's would be. So all that being said, thanks for riding with me, and until we take off again, huh? See ya. And now, if you stuck with me, this is bonus footage. This is bonus footage with Jake Viveros. Look at the size of those sunglasses. My man, and the Cowie brothers. What's up, stud? Man, he's just cruising. You see that? He had the one hand on the hip pirate look. Ah, that's a strong look. I'm not gonna lie, I ride like that sometimes too. You know, you got the hand on the hip, like that's the teapot look. You know, I'm a little teapot. That's the teapot look. You know, it's also known as I'm driving in traffic look. You know, usually that's you have to do.